Greenhell is a massively popular survival game that puts the player into the Amazon rainforest, where they must craft for supplies and trying to survive, while at the same time fight off fierce enemies, make your own medicine to treat your wounds, and try to find your way back to safety. And this game has already been released on all major platforms, but is now finally also playable in virtual reality, which is specifically made for the Quest 2 headset. But the game is not an exact port, and the developers had to make lots of changes for it to be playable on the Quest. So let's talk about all the big differences between the PC and the Quest 2 version. The first thing that is unchanged and still the same is the narrative itself. You play as protagonist Jake Higgins, who finds himself separated from his partner Mia on a return trip to the Amazon rainforest, where he must survive and search for his escape. And if you've played the original campaign, this game will almost feel like an abridged version, with many key areas of the map returning that are now only connected by shorter areas in between. And similar as well is the survival cycle, which is a day-by-day system where you can build your camps, hunt for food, and craft your resources. And depending on the difficulty you choose, this game can be very challenging. But because it is in VR, there have been some changes in the system. The first one being the overhaul of how you build things. For example, if you want to build a leaf hut, all it took in the PC version was to chop down a tree pressing a single button. The same going for the logs and the leaves that were needed for this. Then just instantly throw them all together and watch it get built right in front of you. On the Quest, every axe swing that hits that tree is from your own movement. And the logs that you build have to be lined up in silhouettes and knocked into place before you can actually build the tent. This makes the crafting system much more manual and a lot lengthier, but ultimately much more rewarding. That's because it makes you feel like you're actually crafting these items. There are other VR specific benefits too. Think about stone surfaces in the game that can now be used to snap tree logs or cut coconuts, rather than having to rely on items held in your hand. And you can lean down to scoop up water with your hands, or even fire an arrow by pulling back the bowstring yourself. All these interactions make the game feel so much more alive, which is of course thanks to the virtual reality environment. But on the more controversial side, there are also a lot of landscape changes, which becomes clear as soon as you leave the tutorial area, with significant parts of Greenhell's map being cut down to size, making it not a linear game, but a lot more direct compared to an open world feeling. And that directly creates another problem. Because there is less travel time, this means that there is also less stress on your resources. You still need to watch your intake, water and sleep, but far more of the map is reachable within a certain time frame. And this makes the game a lot easier, with the overall length of the game being around 10 hours, which is still big for the nowadays VR standards. It is just a fraction of the original game. Although it's not all bad, because they completely redesigned the levels, it does mean that the Quest version is able to retain a lot of performance, while still having a staggering amount of things going on at the same time. It really makes every area feel alive and a lot more detailed compared to other games. On top of that, the amount of enemy encounters is also a lot lower, especially thinking about bigger enemies. Still, it's by no means a pushover. Even one attack of a big predator can mean quickly bleeding out, and slipping off a log most likely means saying goodbye to a large chunk of that health bar. And as you can see, there are a lot of pros and cons for this game coming to VR, with most of the good parts being because it is played in virtual reality, while the downsides are mostly due to the graphical performance that the Quest 2 can put out.